So welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've done a garden update. I've actually been busy doing a lot of other things and decided I needed to post an update because a lot has changed. A lot of things are really starting to die down in the garden. I did pull up all the green beans the other day. The corn is about done. We probably got maybe like, I don't know, 8 or 10 ears of corn off of it. Some of them were really pretty. Some of them were just, they really didn't develop right. But next year I'm going to try it again. And I actually think I'm going to plant them a little bit closer and maybe do another row. I did 4 rows. Did I do 4? 3 or 4? Well, I think it's 4. They all didn't come up. I did 4 rows this year. So I'll probably do a little bit more of that next year. The Brussels sprouts are doing okay. We had a big thunderstorm about a week or 2 ago, and it actually pushed over my Brussels sprouts, so I had to stake some of those up. And it's weird, I did all of these from seeds, and it looks like only 2 of the plants actually have Brussels sprouts growing on them. You can see right here, this one's got some sprouts on it, but some of the other ones don't really have any on it, so I don't know what that is, if that was because of this summer. Not really sure. I never really seem to have good luck with Brussels sprouts, but we've had some cool nights, so I was kind of hopeful that maybe the cooler weather would help. So we'll see how that goes. I had a bunch of carrots that were growing in here that we actually ate in the last week or so, and they were delicious. They were really sweet. The peppers are still looking good. I still have a couple of smaller ones that are growing. I'm not sure how good those are going to do. I did lose one of my sunflowers in that thunderstorm I mentioned that we had a couple of weeks ago. It just totally snapped right in half. But the birds are still eating away the seeds, and so I like to keep those up here because they really are enjoying eating those seeds. Usually it's the yellow finches that I see, but I have seen some sparrows. But the tomatoes are doing really well. That seems to be the most productive thing in the garden right now. Tons of tomato plants, or excuse me, tomatoes still growing on these plants. I made another batch of sauce earlier this week, so I've been really lucky with the sauce. There's still, as you can see right here, there's still quite a few that are turning, and I think those are the Brandywines. They're either Brandywines or pink hybrids, I can't remember. But there's still a lot on there, and I actually moved all the pots that I had. You can see my walkway is clear. So all the pots that I had in this walkway, I put over here just to kind of keep everything together. The herbs are still doing really good. This oregano I'll probably end up snipping and drying to have some nice dried herbs all winter long. The peas are finally starting to die down. Actually, the tomatoes are kind of taking over the peas. But Maddie fully enjoyed eating the peas off the vine. Her and her daddy were coming here every day and eat some peas, so she really liked that. But again, the only thing that seems to be still kind of growing right now is the tomatoes, and we've been lucky. Today is the first day of fall, so I've been lucky that the growing season has extended as long as it has. We haven't had any frosts yet, obviously. I think the coolest nights we've had have been like in the low 40s. So we're getting close, but the long-range outlook looks like it's still going to be pretty good for a while. So I'm actually excited that I'll still be able to get tomatoes to grow and to turn. So I should still be able to get at least another batch or 2 of sauce out of this. But for now, that's about all that's going strong in here. The greenhouse is still keeping me busy, so let's check that out. So over here in the greenhouse, where the grass is growing quite nicely, everything is looking pretty good. These are some peppers that I had repotted from smaller pots. I'm not sure that they're going to make it. I think they're some sort of sweet pepper. They're not a bell pepper, but I did transplant those from a smaller pot, and I don't know, they don't seem to be doing all that great, but we'll see. I mean, I know people do grow peppers in their greenhouse. Maybe I'm just not good at it. But I did some reorganizing and everything is doing all right. These are the herbs that are still growing. I mostly have onions in here. I have white onions, I have red onions, which are, I think they're getting close. But the leafy stuff on them is still really green. And all the other times I've picked onions, I've picked the onions when these greens have died off and turned brown and fallen over. And these still look pretty healthy, so I'm going to let them go and see if I can get some better onions out of these. This one's looking like it might be, you know, this is more what I expect to see when I get ready to harvest an onion, is the stalks start falling over. So maybe these ones are closer than everything else. My cold crops are doing okay. I think I'm going to have to transplant these into bigger pots soon. I'll probably use like the pots for these for, this is cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. I have red cabbage and green cabbage. So once I harvest these onions, I will transplant these over. And the lettuce is doing really good. I have the black-seeded Simpson is this one, and this one is, I think it's just a gourmet blend from what I said before, but they're doing really well. It's about 70 degrees in here right now, so I try to keep it cool because, like I said, most of the crops that are left in here, other than like the onions and the peppers, are cool crops. And this is the turnip that I planted in this little planter pot that seems to be doing very well. So I'm anxious to see how that comes out. I've never grown turnips in a container before, so we'll see how that goes. The tomatoes, like I said, they're not doing that good. And I did actually get 2 tomatoes off this one closest to me about a week or 2 ago, and I made sauce with it. I think it's because the bees can't get in here to pollinate the flowers. I could be totally wrong. I really don't know. They're tall. I can say that. They're taller than me, which I know isn't really saying much. But they grew really nice. They just didn't get a lot of tomatoes. Lots of flowers, but all the flowers died off. I don't know if you can see here. These flowers have kind of like blackened, and that seems like that's what most of them had done. And like I said, I think it's just because they're in a greenhouse, so maybe the bees can't get in to pollinate the flowers. That's just my guess on it. But so far, the greenhouse is still going strong. It's, like I said, today's the first day of fall, so we built this in May, and I know a lot of people have been watching our greenhouse build video, and I appreciate that. For those of you that haven't seen our full greenhouse build video, I will put a link in the upper corner if you wanted to click on that and see where this all started. But I'm very happy with it. It's held up. We've had some nasty windstorms and thunderstorms, but nothing I can complain about. No flooding. Like I said, I obviously need to weed whack in here. It's getting really lush. And I know as the season goes on, obviously this is still going to have humidity in it and moisture. You can hear the crickets. The grass is going to continue to grow. So that's one thing I'm kind of struggling with, is just keeping down on the grass growing. So I might have to figure out something for next year to really cut that down. But like I said, things are dwindling down outside, but they're kind of still going strong in here. So I'm really happy about that. So I'll continue to update as the season goes on, and pretty soon I'll be getting ready to get the garden ready for next year. I did order some garlic, some garlic bulbs that I'm waiting to come in. So once I have those, I'll put those in the ground, make sure those are in and covered up with some mulch. I'm going to rototill the garden probably twice before I do that, once everything's pulled out of the garden. But I'm going to let the outside garden go as long as it can. No signs of any frost in the future for us. The low temperatures, I think even through the next week, show like 50s. So that's pretty unusual for this time of year around here. Usually we're, dipping down into the 40s. But so far, so good. So again, thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, I would greatly appreciate hearing what all of you think. Or just say hi. And I hope all your gardens are going well still, and everybody's getting to enjoy in their harvests this time of year, whether you can or, whatever you do. I'd like to hear about it. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.